Shirley, it's finally time for us to judge you.
Well, this actually is one of the worst stories. So I sort of want to set the scene. It was many, many years ago, and it was whilst I was married to a husband. As you know, I've had a few. So I was at practice one evening. We were practicing our cha-cha-cha, and then I noticed my husband then went and sat down, and next to him went this lovely young lady that was actually the babysitter of my son at the time.
No.
And they were sitting so close that it made me uncomfortable. So I went over to her and I said, if you get any closer to him, you'll be sitting on his face. So that disturbed my husband at the time. We went home. There was a few words said. A few nights later, he didn't come home. I said, where have you been? He said, well, actually, I had to fit new light bulbs in for Mrs. X, we'll call her. So he was out fixing her light bulbs.
Is that a euphemism?
It just all looked a little wrong to me. Anyway, we go up to the British Dance Championships. So I'm sitting there watching the competition. I've got a lovely front row seat. And then my little boy said to me, Mummy, I need to go to the bathroom. I said, OK. Off we went. Got him by the hand, walking backstage, and here she comes. She taps me on the shoulder and I turn around. She said, we need to talk. I said, leave it. This is not the time and the place. I took a few more steps forward. She tapped me again. I turned round. I said, please, I just explained to you, it's not the time and the place. Third time she tapped me, she says, you just have to get used to the fact I fucked your husband. And with that, there's a white angel and a red angel, and I looked at her and I went, boom! Yeah. Over she went. My little boy was stood there like this. And I just looked and people were going, was that Shirley Ballas? Was that Shirley Ballas that just did that? Needless to say, I did not see the final that evening. I was rather embarrassed. But when I look back on it, I was quite happy I gave it a bit of welly.
Rumour has it, Shirley, that the dance world is a hothouse of sexual encounters. Have you been part of that?
Well, I was part of something, and that was a 40th birthday party where this wonderful young lady and adjudicator had had too much to drink, and so had I. And we had this great big snog, and she was engaged and I had a boyfriend. So you could say it was a really strong and lovable embrace with somebody else's girlfriend.
Do people always get it on with each other, though, Shirley, on Strictly?
I think people get it on with each other everywhere. I mean, him and I had a cuddle backstage, you know, we've only just met. I mean, people get it on everywhere at any time.
Rosie and I, there's a lot of chemistry already.
By the end of the show, me and Mel will shag.
That will be available on the extras. If you press a green button, you'll see them go at it.
So it was one of the years that we had a drought and we wanted to fill up the swimming pool, but obviously you weren't allowed to.
No way, Jose.
So the next door neighbour had gone on holiday. So my husband at the time had this idea that he would jump the fence, I would pass him the hose, and we would put the hose to their tap. We had it all going. He was over there with the tap. He threaded it back over. I got it into the swimming pool, and we switched it on, and we were sitting there, and we thought, yep, we're going to be able to fill up our pool. And the next thing we hear is a knock on the door, and out we go bouncing to the door, thinking perhaps it's the children, you know. We open the door, and the next-door neighbours had come home early from their holiday. I didn't quite know what to say. There was no excuse that we could have. And he just grabbed hold of my husband and he just went off on one. We had to prise them out of the door and slam it in their face. Needless to say, we got in severe trouble for robbing the next door neighbour's water. Wow.